Oh, by the way, from earlier, Micah, no, you. Oh, no.
Okay.
Load in. Load in.
Load in. Load in. I don't know where the guns are.
It's doing the same thing, CryYT.
I don't know where the guns are.
I just took fall damage.
I'm stuck on the roof and I can't move. It won't let me jump off.
It was just doing that to me.
Where's the weapons? I can't see. Well, know your facts before you come at me, little goof.
That's right, little goof.
Come at me, little goof.
Oh, goof. Everything's still not rendered in. Still so blocky, and my pickaxe is not out. What is going on? I can't move. I'm stuck in the ground, jumping up and down, and won't let me open up the door.
Please just like take a clip of that and just send that to me.
Still ain't loaded in yet.
Actually loaded in for me somehow.
Okay,
I just straight up got like 2 fucking messages right there.
20 messages. Come on, load in, please. Load in.
Mine's still ain't even loaded in.
Load in. Load in. Oh, load in. Load in. Load in. Load in. Load. Where's the weapons? Load in. Okay. I'm loaded in.
That's what I'm talking about, son.
Give me something.
Give me some.
Give me a VR headset. Give me my gun out.
Oh.
Give me my gun out. What the heck, man?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, it's doing that same thing again?
Or it's not letting you,
Or it's not letting me have my pickaxe out?
Oh yeah, we got such a great game. There's a menu.
There we go. Now it lets me have my pickaxe out. There was no weapon at the bottom.
What is going on, folks? If you guys watched the first few moments of the video, yes, oh my goodness, man, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is an issue that needs to be fixed and as soon as possible, okay? The issue at hand is render issues with the game currently. As we can see in the first few clips, mainly the issue was rendering in, okay? The issue of just simply rendering in textures in the game, such as buildings, is at an all-time low. It renders in, like, the early games are literally impossible to play for like the first minute and a half because of how poorly some of these textures render in. And these clips were actually sent to me by CryYT. He sent them to me there the other night. I told him, I was like, man, I want to make a video. Hopefully this kind of puts some more, you know, put some more information out there. Hopefully shed some more light on this issue, and hopefully really gets brought up and hopefully fixed in a, you know, patch very soon. Because the issue at hand is on console. It seems like it happens mainly on console. I actually looked it up on Reddit. All of these clips that I just showed were on PS4, but I looked it up on Reddit. There was several clips that I found of it happening on an Xbox One, and then there was also a picture that I found of an issue where a player was landing at like Mega Mall and he was having the same render issues, but he was playing on a Nintendo Switch. So after kind of looking around for a little bit, I was quite curious about whether or not it just happened on PS4, but after just kind of doing a little bit of research, this actually happens on all of the console platforms. I don't know if this happens on mobile. I didn't research that, which with the way that the game is functioning at the current moment, I wouldn't be surprised if these render issues happened on mobile as well. I don't know about PC. I would imagine that PC is actually running okay, since you have a lot of variety in terms of selecting, you know, like in terms of settings, whether or not you want to have this render distance, or you know, you want to have this render settings, or you want to have like motion blur. I'm trying to think of all the different settings that you could have on PC. But on PC, you know, of course, you do have a lot of variety when it comes to turning on render settings, is basically what I'm saying. So I don't really know if this issue is on PC or not because of that, but it is on console nonetheless. Because in console, you ain't really got the variety. You ain't got the option to turn settings on and off. So at the current moment, playing on like a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One or a Nintendo Switch, there is a huge issue when it comes to rendering in games, or not games, but rendering in Fortnite. And I just want to go back and look at some of these clips that I just shown off, and we can see at the one where he drops in, we drop into Shifty Shafts, me and him does, and he picks up a weapon, and he is unable to actually pull out said weapon. He picks up, I think, a heavy AR, and I think a suppressed SMG. I know he picks up a heavy AR, but what happens is he picks up 2 weapons. He jumps down because he spots an enemy. He tries to go directly in for him, but the game will not allow him to but actually, you know, pull the weapons out and use them. And if you look very closely here, you can see that in this clip, the skin at first, whenever he picks up the weapon and he begins to chase after him, the skin is not loaded in, okay? But as soon as he gets knocked, the skin runs over there, and you know, just for that glimpse of just a split second, we can see that the skin isn't rendered in properly, and then it renders into its actual skin, which I think is a Bright Bomber, if I'm not mistaken. So this does have an issue with render in problems. You know, you can also make the claim, if we look here at its ping, at CryYT's ping and packet loss, I mean, you know, you do see a small spike in ping, and I think one of the clips, and I think you do see like a 1% packet loss in one of the clips as well. But even though you have, I seen one clip, he had a little bit over 100 ping, and I don't know how much packet loss he had right off the top of my head, but it wasn't a lot. I know he didn't have over 3% packet loss out of all the clips that I seen, and he definitely didn't go above a 110. I think the highest may have been 106 ping, but I know he didn't go well over 106 ping in any of the clips that I saw that he sent me. So, you know, simply just having a ping of a little bit over 100 and like a 1 to 3% packet loss doesn't necessarily justify rendering problems within the game. So I just wanted to go ahead and point that out before somebody tried to make an argument regarding that. And, you know, this is also something else. When I looked at the videos on Reddit, specifically on the Xbox One, I'll actually put that up here in just a moment just to kind of show you. I didn't really notice any high ping or packet loss whenever it came to viewing those clips as well. And same thing with the Nintendo Switch. When I looked at the Nintendo Switch, the frames per second on the system were absolutely horrible. And even though the frames were horrible, like if you look at the Nintendo Switch, it'll show you how many frames you get per second. Even though you don't really get that many frames per second, even though the frames were at an all-time low, there was still an issue in terms of rendering in. And this happens apparently on all console platforms. I wouldn't really imagine that this happens on PC that often, but like I said, I could necessarily be wrong. But in the post on Reddit here, it just simply states this is happening on all console platforms right now. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's happening on PC, but then again, I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but I would imagine not. This appears to mainly be happening on console. I really don't know if it happens on mobile, but I would imagine it does happen on mobile with how limited hardware-wise, you know, mobile platforms are. So either way, this is an issue that needs to be addressed. I don't want to make this video just kind of throwing shade or hate at anybody, but this is an issue that a lot of people, I thought CryYT was just mainly having it, because it seemed like every other game that we played, especially when we dropped at newer places like Neo Tilted or Mega Mall, or what's that new Pressure Plant, I think is what it's called, whenever we would drop there, that really seemed to be when the rendering problems would happen the worst. And it seemed like at Shifty Shafts, whenever we dropped there wasn't really a render problem when it comes to rendering in like buildings, things like that. It just really seemed to be an issue of that skin rendering in, so maybe that has something to do with it. And like I said, he didn't have that high of a ping and didn't have that much of a packet loss, so that couldn't really justify the render in problems that this game is currently facing. Here is just a small clip of it happening on an Xbox One. This post actually gained a little bit of traction, which is good because this is an issue that needs to be addressed as soon as possible. I'll go ahead, I'll stop babbling on, show you guys the clip, and we can discuss a little bit more afterwards. So, as we can see in this clip here that I just shown off, this was on an Xbox One. I don't know if this was on an Xbox One S or Xbox One X or the original model. I don't know. But either way, this is on an Xbox One. You know, you could also make the argument that, hey, this guy does have, you know, quite a high ping. I don't think it spikes up past, you know, 160, 170 or anything like that. But he didn't have no packet loss. There was no packet loss on both download and upload. But he didn't have, you know, a very high ping, something that was just, you know, completely outrageous, but he was still facing these rendering in issues. I don't know how far along the game was in. This appears to be at the start of the game because there's still 92 people left. So it really seems to be happening the most of all whenever it comes to playing and landing in very early game into these new locations. And these new locations, of course, were added in during, you know, at the update of version 9.0 or season 9. And I ain't trying to throw, you know, shade at season 9 or anything. That's not what I'm trying to do. But it seems like a lot of these issues were added in the version 9.0 update, especially when these new locations were added in, because this appears to be the issue. It appears to be an issue when players land at these newer places, Neo-Tilted, Mega Mall, Pressure Plant, I believe is what it's called, and these issues need to be fixed, okay? It really seems to happen mainly early game, within like the first minute to 2 minutes of the game. I have seen this, you know, it seems like the first minute of the game for console players can virtually be almost impossible to play because of some of these rendering in problems. As we can see on the Xbox One clip, he landed into a building at Neo-Tilted. He did have a suppressed SMG, but the way that the game was rendered in, it wouldn't allow him to actually land in properly. We can kind of see he was kind of glitching around a little bit, and that was even some clips that were shown on the CryYT clips that I showed very early on in the video. This is an issue that needs to be fixed, okay? And something I found very humorous was the fact that as soon as he got knocked, that's when that's when everything decided to fully render in. I just kind of thought that was kind of funny on the Xbox One clip that I just showed off. But either way, Epic, what I would really suggest doing is get off your high horses, okay? Stop trying to add in new items into the game every week. We don't need to worry about new items at the current moment. I do understand, you know, you want to add in items every so often, keep the game fun and fresh. I do understand that, but you know, since version 9.0 is a very big update, since season 9 is a very big change from season 8, what I really want to suggest doing is simply in the next 2 patches that you guys release, just fix bugs and glitches. Don't focus on adding anything new in whatsoever, because that's just going to cause more and more problems. Just focus in on addressing the current issues that the game is facing, such as the render issue on the PS4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. Don't know if this is necessarily happening on PC or the mobile platforms, but I know this is, you know, directly happening on console, and this needs to be addressed as soon as possible. So what I would really recommend is in the next 2 updates, just mainly focus in on ironing out the bugs and glitches in the game. Don't focus on adding anything new in. I think I can speak for a ton of the community when I say that, because there is a lot of horrible things that is going on, especially early game on console. There's a lot of horrible bugs and glitches that really need to be addressed, and as soon as possible. I don't want to go on here and just make a horrible rant just completely hating on Epic Games or hating on Fortnite. That's not what I want to do. I want this game to function properly. I want it to live on. I want it to be a fun experience that I can play for both me and my friends that we can enjoy. And it seems to be almost utterly impossible, especially early game when we play on console, because of the rendering in problems. CryYT even had the problem where he couldn't pull out a weapon or pull out his pickaxe, and I've actually seen that happen to my younger brother playing just the other night. He landed in, he couldn't pull out his pickaxe, and he ended up dying because of it. So Epic, please, within like the next 2 patches, focus in strictly on fixing bugs and glitches. Don't add in new items. That's all I can say. If they have released anything patch-wise, or stated that they're going to bring anything in the next update, I apologize because I haven't seen that yet at the time of recording this video. So please don't focus on adding anything new in for like the next 2 updates. Just focus on bug glitches. Fix these things, fix these issues that we're all facing. That's all that I can ask, and I think the majority of the community would also be super greatly appreciated to hear that as well. I apologize for my phone going off right there. But anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning into this video. If you guys did in fact enjoy my, I guess, small rant or my little venting here, please leave a like rating. Share this with your friends. Let's get this out there. This needs to be addressed. This needs to be fixed as soon as possible. Make sure to go ahead and leave a like rating, though. If you don't leave a like rating, James Charles has in fact just kissed you. So if you want to undo that kissing of James Charles, you got to go ahead and smack that like rating, everybody. Anyways, guys, that's the end of the video. Please, do whatever you can to support the channel, support the video. It would be super greatly appreciated. I love you guys. Stay beautiful, and I will see you all in the next one.